welcome back to my little fiber channel. My name is Connor, and you can find me at Calling for Orpheus on both Instagram and Ravelry, which are also linked in the description. And I hope you are having such a good day today, and if you're not, I hope it gets better. Today we are doing kind of a different video from normal. And honestly, we might be moving on to kind of different videos like long term, just because I feel like the podcast format is a little limiting for me and is not necessarily it's not necessarily, I think, the best fit for the way that I craft, because I craft very quickly. I work on a lot of things, I work very quickly, I work through a lot of things at a time, and I just feel like nothing really gets a chance to sink in with the monthly podcast format, so I want to switch it up, and today's video is that kind of a switch up. I also didn't record anything like earlier in the month, because normally I would want to post like around the 10th or so, the 10th to the 15th. It's the 15th today that I'm filming this. Excuse me. But I just wasn't feeling very well. feeling very well, and I wasn't feeling very well for a couple of weeks, and my last podcast, which I think wasn't great, I'm not really proud of that video. I'm not gonna take it down, but I'm not really proud of it. I was not feeling very well as I recorded that, and I didn't really want to record it, honestly. I didn't really want to film. I felt like I had to. And as a result, I think the quality suffered a lot. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna film if I don't want to. And so today I feel good, and I want to film because there's something I want to talk about. Oops, I'm gonna drop in here. I am feeling good, right? But there are certain things in knitting that I'm like, oof, about, and that's the point of this video today. So I'm going to go through a lot of the stuff that I'm working on, actually everything that I'm working on, basically, and go through kind of like what's bringing me joy, what I'm loving working on, and what I'm not loving working on so much. And we're gonna make some decisions about frogging, finishing, or icing stuff, aka putting it into hibernation. And I think we're gonna have to make some hard decisions today. And I'm prepared for it. But I'm gonna start with the stuff that's been good for me. So I won't grab the spinner itself right now, but I bought an e-spinner, also known as an e-wheel. This is just a little example of some single ply that I've done on said e-wheel. I'm getting better. I mean, there's definitely parts that are like chunky and not great looking, but if you ignore that part and you just look at this, you really can't see it very well. I have that nearsighted camera, or that far-sighted camera. But this has been a great deal of fun. I got the electric eel wheel from Dreaming Robots. It's the EEW 6.1, I think, is the technical name of the model. And I've been playing with that, and I've already finished one spin completely, but it's a gift spin, so I can't show you, but I'm very proud of it. It's really beautiful. So that's been a great deal of fun for me, and it really is fast. It's great. I was able to do a full spin in a single day, like a full 130 yards of 3-ply yarn. So it was a total of, what, 390 yards of yarn that I spun in one day? Which is a lot of yarn. So that's been great fun for me. And I've also been working on these socks. Look how cute! Look at these socks. This pattern is I'm Baddie for Halloween by Charlotte Stone of Stone Knits. I finished the first sock. I think I finished it just last night. It fits me great. And I started the second sock today. Yeah. It's really fun. It's a super fun pattern. It's really easy to memorize. It's really rhythmic. The one issue is it does have some quite long floats, including long floats of this color. So you'll be, working a really long float across this bat here, which is worked in the contrast color, and it is tough to lock that kind of a float. It's easy to lock the floats that go across the main color, quite hard to lock the floats that go across the contrast color, unfortunately, which means that when I put my foot through here, I kind of have to like make a fist with my foot and just hope I don't snag any of the floats. But they fit great. They're beautiful. They're so fun. And I actually think that I'm going to cast on a second pair in lime green, because I have a slimy, limey green color. Yeah, I love those. And the other thing that has been positive for me overall, I will say I had some complex feelings about it, and I had to kind of go back and reassess things so that it wouldn't stress me out, is my splatter sweater. So this is a crochet piece, not knitted. I'm probably gonna say knitting a lot because I'm mostly a knitter, but it is crochet. Well, there's knitted, the ribbing is knitted. The ribbing is knitted, the rest of it is crochet, and I'm also planning on doing knitted pockets, which are going to be constructed as a closed pouch. Like you're going to knit it in the round on magic loop, really small needles as well, so that nothing falls out or sags. And then you're going to sew it to the front of the piece. The whole thing is kind of inspired by the Weekender Crew, yeah, by Andrea Mowry, except it's, of course, crochet, and it's designed to be knit in this really, or in a crazy variegated sock yarn. And this I have relegated to being my bedtime making, because I find when I'm like, okay, I need to write the pattern, I need to work on this, I need to get it done, it stresses me out when I'm just like sitting at my desk working. When I have this around and available to work on at any point during the day, it's stressful for me. So I have it relegated as my relaxing bedtime making, and that's actually been great. That's made it so much more enjoyable for me because I'll just sit in bed and I'll listen to Tokes Knits, she does like these 90-minute knitting podcasts, and I love that. I don't want to make 90-minute videos because then I have to compromise on other things like the editing. Like my last video, which was an hour long, I really wasn't able to edit it very well because of how big and fat the video file was, and I edit things on my phone. And I edited it really poorly. I think that I forgot to take some stuff out. Like, it was not great, and I don't want to do that. I want my videos to be kind of decently edited, like appropriately edited. But I love listening to those super long podcasts. They're great. Anyway, so that's been fun to knit, or fun to crochet. And I've gotten through the majority of the pattern writing as well. So I'm really excited about it. I cannot wait for it to be done. That's all of the good stuff. And now we move on to all the bad stuff, which is a lot. But first, I'm going to talk about the things that I know what to do with. Because the whole point of this video is to work through the things I don't know what to do with. I need to stop recording for a second. Okay, sorry. I have everything in one pile here, so things were getting tangled. But the first thing that I know what I'm going to do with is my 2024 Friday tee. So here it is. This is the Friday tee by Petite Knit. Here it is. It's designed to be knit on fingering weight yarn, light fingering weight yarn. It goes up, I think Petite Knit does like extra small to 5XL in this pattern, I think, maybe. I couldn't tell you the finished bust circumference sizes, unfortunately, but it is a broken rib texture raglan with a really wide raglan, these cute little stripes. It does feature short row shaping. It's great. I love this design. I made one last year. I'm kind of planning on making one every single year. But it's already out of season. This piece is already kind of out of season. It's already getting quite chilly here. We're having an uncharacteristically very cool here this year. Normally it's oppressively hot from like March to Halloween, and this year like we had a beautiful spring, hot summer, but not the worst it's been, and then we're having a beautiful fall so far. So while it's a really nice fall appropriate color, I don't feel any urgency to complete this because it's already kind of out of season. It's already getting to be a bit too chilly to really wear this. And if I'm going to wear something knitted right now, I want to wear a knitted sweater because that's what it's appropriate weather for. So I do think that what I'm going to do with this, I'm not frogging it because I love it. It's beautiful. I am going to pack it up with the yarn. I'm going to take this yarn and all of the yarn that I have still on the shelf. I'm going to pack it up, put it in a little bag, and put it in my closet, which is where I put things that I currently it's really just like yarn that I don't want, that I'm planning on destashing with my friends. But that's kind of like my deep stash. I do need to, I think, reclaim these needles though. Oh no, they're fixed circulars. I can leave them there. Yeah, they're fixed. I can leave them. It's fine. It's fine. They're fixed circulars. But yeah, I'm gonna take that, wrap it up, put all the yarn in there, and pack it away, and that way I can come back to it whenever I want to. It's not gone, it's not been frogged, it's not been removed. I can grab it when I feel like it, and I might feel like knitting on it again in January, you know? I might. So, the next thing is something that I am planning on frogging, which is the first design that oh no, it's not. It's the second design that I'm showing today. The first design was good. It's the other design that I have. So this is Kindred. I talked about this in my last podcast. It's a really basic circular yoke stockinette sweater with a double folded collar. Knit in this really nice speckled yarn. This yarn is Passion Yarns Cherish. It's an MCN base. It's really beautiful yarn. It's lovely. It's super soft. Gorgeous, gorgeous speckled colorway. Reminds me of birch trees. It's wonderful. I was writing this as a pattern. It was supposed to be a like relatively beginner friendly circular yoke sweater for free, was the intention here. And I have never had this little fun writing a knitting pattern. Circular yoke sweaters are genuinely miserable to grade. They're so difficult to grade. They're so hard. I don't know why. I don't know. They're just so hard to grade, because everything is fully combined up here, but you work in these wedges. It's not like if you're working with a raglan or something, like you have the front and the back and the sleeves, and it starts out one way and then it ends one way, but it's all divided already. A circular yoke is not like that. And instead of having like 4 segments that you increase as you go, you have like a dozen segments, and each segment is like the same size, but you have a different number of them, and things get very complicated. Trust me, it doesn't sound complicated. It is disturbing how difficult circular yoke sweaters are to grade, which is really disappointing because I love color work and I really wanted to write patterns for color work yoke sweaters, and frankly, I don't think I have it in me. At least not right now, not at this point in my maker life. I don't think I have the skill to do that. I just don't think I'm a comfortable enough pattern writer to do that. And again, this pattern, which is plain stockinette, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's okay. It's fine to knit. Terribly unfun to write the pattern for it. And I also want to change one thing, which is the collar here. So I did a purl ridge when I folded the collar together, and I want to change that to a lateral braid. And my plans for this sweater, when I do decide to pick it back up again, are I want to completely restart it, do that, double folded collar, do a lateral braid to close it, and then I want to do a contiguous set-in sleeve, because I like the circular yoke, I like the fit. It's just something about this, I think, like with this color, like I don't know, I'm looking at it right here, like pre-divide, I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know. No, I don't know. Now I'm thinking maybe I could keep it a circular yoke. But either way. I'm thinking, I guess I should say, I'm thinking about switching it to a contiguous set-in sleeve, which I really love the way that looks on me. I guess the circular yoke is just fine. I guess it's fine. But anyway, I want to frog it anyway, to do that lateral braid. So, because the purl is fine, but I would prefer the lateral braid. So this is going to get frogged, and I'm probably going to hank the yarn up again, because I have all of it in cakes. But the thing with a cake is it can stretch out the yarn, and it's also not as compact to store. So I'm probably going to hank it back up. Beautiful design. Beautiful. Patting myself on the back. It's beautiful yarn is what I meant to say. Beautiful yarn. Perfectly serviceable design. It's just, I'm not having fun writing the pattern, so I'm not going to write the pattern. I'm saying F it. I don't care anymore. I'm not writing the pattern. I'm already doing one pattern. I have more exciting, more fun plans for future patterns in my head that aren't this. That's getting scrapped for now. And then we get on to the more complex knits. Not in terms of like the knit is complex, but how I feel about the word complex. I'm going to start with, let's try not to get this tangled. This is a mess. Where's the back? That's the front. Yeah, here's the back. I put this little surface crochet on the back so that I know where it is. And it's great. You don't see it on the back at all. It's great. Anyway, this is my Felix-ish, is what I've called this. It is my camera's mirrored. It's a top-down raglan construction with these fun little eyelet increases based off of the Felix pullover by Amy Christoffers, but I didn't follow that pattern. I just kind of did my own thing. It fits me great. I can actually just put it on over my t-shirt. So here you can kind of see how it fits me. It has quite a deep yoke, a much deeper yoke than I expected, but I wanted a nice, really wide body. I did the math so that the raglans seem to be set far out, and I really love it. I don't know, I really love it. It's super comfortable. It's cozy without being like hot and suffocating. It's knitting for olive merino and knitting for olive compatible cashmere, which are two like relatively, they're not stifling. They're breathable. This is where they're relatively breathable yarns, the cashmere especially. And yeah, I love it. I can wear it right next to my skin, but I wasn't gonna take off my shirt for the sake of that. I just don't want to knit all of this plain, boring stockinette right now. I just don't really want to. it's plain and boring. And while I love the product that I'm getting, and I think that the finished object has the potential to literally be my favorite sweater, at least this year, because I think it's really flattering. It's a great color. I love the shape of it. It's really comfortable. It's a really comfortable fabric. It's breathable, but it's still kind of warm. I genuinely think that, particularly in the fall and then in the spring, I think this has the potential to be like my most worn sweater. It's great. But I'm very, very bored with all of the plain stockinette. It's boring. And I don't want to do it. And there's times when I get with a sweater like this that I just wish that I had like a knitting machine that I could pop all of the stitches onto and just crank it. And just crank the body, have the body done, do the ribbing, bind off the ribbing, and do the sleeves myself. I wish I could do that, but alas, I can't. And I have some potential thoughts about what I kind of want to do with this, but before I talk in depth about what I want to do with this, I do want to talk about my other, like, complex feelings knit. Alright, so my other knit that I'm having some complex feelings about is Halibut by Caitlin Hunter. Where is the front and where is the back? Here it is. So this is the front of it. It is a, obviously a top-down circular yoke colorwork sweater knit in DK weight yarn that has this fish motif that goes down the yoke. It has a super deep yoke, which I'm actually excited for because it's not a kind of silhouette or construction that I would normally do. I think the color is really nice on me. Obviously, once I block it, this neckline is too high and tight for me personally. Once I block it, it'll relax out into more of a, I think more like that, and it's gonna be nice. But I love the sweater. I love the design. I'm gonna love the finished object, and it's knit in a superwash yarn that I can literally throw in the machine. But I really hate the yarn. I don't like the yarn at all. I don't like the yarn. The yarn is Sandnesgarn Smart, which I bought because it was the only, at the time, it was the only Sandnesgarn yarn that I could afford. It's their cheapest yarn, it's their cheapest wool at least. It's the only one that I could afford because their yarn is really expensive in America. Like more expensive than Isager, which has a reputation for being expensive. Much more expensive as well than Knitting for Olive. Even this, I think it was like $9 a ball, and Knitting for Olive is $8 a ball in the US, and it's a much nicer yarn. Much nicer yarn. I did love the colors, so I don't want to like destash the yarn and stop using it because I love the colors. The colors are fantastic, I think. And I already bought the yarn, you know, and I knitted a big swatch in the round in stockinette with this, and that was actually enjoyable. It's just the color work. And as well, I have kind of a hot take, which is I don't really find the color work of Halibut very fun. It's the kind of sweater where you really have to stay glued, excuse me, to the chart the entire time. There's a lot of really long floats. I am just not that into the process of this one. I'm not into the process of this one. I love the final product. I love how it looks. I think it's gonna be so much fun once I finally have it. I'm gonna wear it to death. I know that. I know I'm gonna wear this thing to death. Same thing with this. I know I'm gonna wear these pieces to the ground. But I'm a process knitter, and these are not really enjoyable process pieces. So I kind of think what I want to do is pick one of these knits to have as my current like active whip, and focus really hard on either finishing one of them or finishing a significant part of one of them. And then, it depends. So either I'm going to take one of them and put it into hibernation, like the Friday tee. Put it into hibernation, and then work on the other one and cast on a more fun project. Because there are sweaters that I want to make, sweaters and accessories also that I want to make, that would be so much fun, but I haven't yet because of all of the stuff that I have on my plate. So I would keep one, work on that until it's finished, and work simultaneously on a new project that I'm more interested in. Or what I would do is work on them both, but focus on one first, right? Focus on one of them, focus on getting to a certain point. So like with Halibut, it would be focusing on getting out of the colorwork, because the colorwork is the part that I'm finding not enjoyable, which is weird, because I love colorwork. But this colorwork chart is not the most fun for me, and this yarn in colorwork I'm not loving. It's stretchy. It is like working with chewing gum. It is stretchy. Um, Not great for color work, in my opinion. But the milestone here will be to just get through all of the color work, and then it's smooth sailing with the body and the sleeves. I'm gonna deliberate a bit, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to do the other things I said I would do, which include packing this up and away and unraveling this. I have successfully space bagged the Friday tea. I took what I had of Kindred and I've kicked it up. I was initially going to make Twisted Hanks today, but my head hurts and I'm tired and there are more valuable ways for me to spend my time. So I'm not gonna hank these up. I have 2 other cakes already. I'm just gonna pop it back in my stash. I think I'm a little bit more interested in knitting on this project, so I think maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna have this be my main sweater whip right now. I'm gonna have this be my main sweater whip right now. This is getting the forefront. Then my Halloween socks, the second Halloween sock is going to be my like whip. And then the Felix-ish is going to be the like tier 3 whip that like it's gonna sit there active. I'm not going to put it away. It's going to sit on my whip cart. I have a little metal wire cart that sits next to my desk that I put my knits on when I'm working on them. It's gonna sit there with the yarn, and I can pick it up when I get to an activity that demands I do a mindless stockinette project that I don't have to look at. That's what I'm gonna do. So nothing crazy, but I do want to, because it's only Tuesday today. It's only Tuesday. So I would kind of like to keep my progress through the week and show you what I do when. And like, again, like my main sweater whip right now, I think is going to be this. I think I'm going to really work on finishing the yoke. I would like to have the yoke of this completely done by the end of the week. By Sunday, basically. I think that's possible. I'm not going to set myself any other expectations knit-wise, because I do have like the sock whip, and I have this that I'm inevitably going to pick up when I need a little stockinette thing. But yeah, that's the plan for now. So I will see you in the next clip, whatever that's going to be. Hi there, it is Wednesday, October 16th. It's the afternoon, it's almost 4 o'clock. I'm having some food. I just got home from a hike. Very long hike, very fun. We were out for like 2 hours. It was great. And I was looking through my knits because actually I wore a sweater out while we were gone. I wore a sweater because it was really cold this morning, really windy. And I was looking through my sweaters and stuff that I have out for the fall. Excuse me. And I realized I want to unravel my Elliot. I knitted it like a month ago, like not long ago at all. But I've only worn it one time, and I've realized like it's really not my style. It's much too preppy for me. I have a very casual, laid-back style. It's way too preppy, and I didn't put any short rows in it, so the neckline like sits really high up. And I think that I want to unravel it, and I want to do a either ribbed striped sweater, or like a wide, like a 3x1 or a 5x2 or something like that, kind of a rib with stripes with that yarn. Or I want to knit a like DK weight version of the Friday sweater, which I wouldn't buy the pattern. The pattern might even be DK, but I would just use the Friday tee and modify it. But yeah, obviously that's not super high on my priority list right now, but I love the yarn, love the color. It's just the style of the sweater is not really my thing. And I'm at a point right now with my knitwear where I feel like I can't, space-wise, I feel like I can't physically afford to keep sweaters that I don't wear. And there's also no point in it. Like, I bought the yarn. I love the yarn. I'm going to use it to knit something that I really like. So I think once I can make that a priority, I think I'm going to unravel that and re-knit it. And I have untouched leftover yarn from that project that I could just start with while that yarn is being blocked, because it's going to be all kinked and whatnot. But anyway, hi, it's Wednesday night. I'm coming at you from my desk again, because this is the only place in my room with a lamp right now. I've made a decision. I'm home from dinner. I'm really tired, but I've made a decision. The Felix-ish, I'm going to put in hibernation. I'm not frogging it, because I do still think that I want to finish it and knit it. But it's part of me is like, well, maybe with the eyelets, I might choose not to wear it very much because of the eyelets. But it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to put it away into hibernation and pick it up again in the future. I might decide in the future that I want to frog it and completely restart it, and that's fine. Hi, it's the next day. It's Thursday the 17th. And I did what I said I was going to do, and I cast on a new sweater with the Elliot yarn. Now, I've not unraveled Elliot yet. I need to soon, but because I had yarn left over from the original project that I hadn't touched, like I didn't have to use it in the original sweater, I've just broken into that, and I'm going to unravel the Elliot soon, because I don't want to run out of that and then have to unravel Elliot and sit for days while the yarn dries, and, you know, anyway. But I cast on the Farnham sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl, and you can't see it because it's curled and I've not knit that much of it. But I'm having great fun. I love the colors that I've chosen. They're all I had, really, but I love them. Super excited about it. It's so soft. The fabric is gorgeous. I'm using a 3.5mm needle. The pattern recommends 4, and I was looking at the stitch counts, because this is controversial. This is going to be controversial. I don't really go off of gauge because my gauge is so different from every other pattern on the planet. Like, I just don't knit like anyone else does. I am ridiculously loose, and my gauge is just never right. And even if, like, one thing matches, like, the width matches up, the length will be off. If the length matches up, the width is going to be off. And I have never been able to perfectly meet gauge in a pattern. Literally ever. So I kind of go off of stitch counts. I kind of go off of stitch counts to pick my size instead of measurements. Because I know, at this point, I've knit enough sweaters now to know when I'm using X yarn and X needles, I need Y stitch count for Z size. I was looking at the stitch count for this, and for the very small size, and now this is a pattern that's intended for like a foot of positive ease, or a little over a foot, which is kind of a lot, but not that much, honestly. It's not that much. And I was looking at it, and for the very smallest size of this pattern, the very smallest size, which should not be my size, based on the information in the pattern, the stitch count for that size, knit with a DK yarn on 4mm needles, would be the same stitch count that I would normally use for a light fingering sweater on 3mm needles, with ease. So, like, that doesn't make sense. That's not gonna work for me. I'm not making a super drastic change, and I'm modifying the stitch counts so that once I get to the underarm divide, if I realize that the stitch count given in the pattern will actually work for me, I can just cast on more stitches at the underarm, and it won't be a problem. It will not be noticeable. It'll be totally fine. So I've cast on a smaller number of stitches for the back, and I'm going to pick up a smaller number of stitches for the fronts and all of that. I think it's going to work out fine. And yeah, I'm liking it. The writing style is not my favorite. It's just a subjective thing. I don't think that it's a badly written pattern, but Sophie does write her patterns in a particular way that it just doesn't, like, jive with my brain as well as other designers' patterns do. I know a lot of people really love her patterns, though, so it's fully subjective. But yeah, just, like, fair warning. The one thing that I'll, like, warn you about, warn is a very strong word, like, I will warn you about, is the way that she writes the short row instructions is very unique. Like, I've done a lot of patterns for short rows, and they're never written exactly really the way that she writes them. And it actually, as an experienced knitter, it took me a second to be like, wait, what? You know? And I kind of just was like, I'm just going to I know what she means. I'm not going to follow it exactly because it's confusing to me, but I know what she's implying. So I'm going to do what I know that she means, So yeah, if you're a beginner who has knit German short rows before in a pattern that wasn't from the Knit Pearl Girl, you may actually find these patterns confusing. If you've never worked German short rows from a pattern, it probably won't make a difference to you because you won't get caught up by her different use of language because you won't have any language to base it off of. Does that make sense? Yeah. So subjectively, it's, like, not my favorite writing style, but her designs are gorgeous, and I plan on actually knitting at least one more of them. And I'm having fun with the Farnham sweater, so yeah. Hi, so it is the middle of the night on the same day, and I think I told you about my Farnham sweater. I'm making some progress on it, but I do want to clarify one thing, because I think I said in the previous clip, like, with the modifications I'm making, I can just cast on a bunch more stitches at the underarm if I need to, and you won't notice a difference. That's not necessarily true. If I follow the pattern exactly, well, other than like the different stitch counts, but if I follow everything else exactly, and then I just cast on a bunch of extra stitches at the underarm, the sleeves, like there's going to be way too many stitches there for the sleeves. So I am going to be making the back and the front yoke a bit short, and then evaluating from there whether I'm going to need to cast on all of those extra stitches there, or if I can leave it at like 2 to 4 stitches, and if I can leave it at just a couple of stitches cast on there, then I will elongate both sides. It's not a problem. So I did want to clarify that. Oh, I completely forgot the thing that I'm actually supposed to be working on, halibut. I'm up to row, I think, 45 of 64. So it's very hard to show you on these needles, but I'm like, you can see, like, I'm about halfway through the fish itself, and like 2/3 of the way through the chart, basically. So, I will never believe this. So, I have a couple of inches of the back. I only have like 2 stripes left-ish. And I was like, all right, I think now I have enough knitted that I can measure my gauge, because this is a non-superwash yarn combination that I have knitted and blocked before. It doesn't really grow at all when you block it, so I'm like, I can get the gauge measurement right now, no big deal. I did the math. I got 21 stitches in 4 inches, which is just slightly bigger than the pattern. And I was like, okay, 21 stitches in 4 inches, divide that by 4 to get my single inch gauge. Multiply that by what I want my finished object chest circumference to be, which is about 48 inches, because I like 10 inches of positive ease on a sweater, and my chest is 38 inches. Would you believe the number that I got is exactly what the pattern told me to do? It is exactly what the pattern said I would need. So I feel silly, but with that said, now I know that I will just make the front and back shorter and cast on an extra, the same number of stitches that I removed from the front and back on each side to get that stitch count. So yeah, I feel a bit silly, but it's okay. This is why we do the math. Hi, it's Saturday night, and I've made progress. I am on row 51 currently of 63 of the colorwork chart. And then once the colorwork chart is done, I've got a little bit of stockinette to do, a little bit of more additional increasing to do before, oopsies, oops, that was a mistake. Oops, 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 I accidentally hit my keyboard. I've got a little bit of stockinette to do, a little bit of increasing to do, and then I can divide for sleeves. And I kind of think I'm going to be able to finish at least the color work tonight. I might not divide for sleeves tonight, but I do think that I'm going to be able to finish the color work tonight, which means that I will have succeeded at this challenge. The other thing is, I've made great progress on the Farnham sweater, though I have been prioritizing halibut especially tonight because it's almost Sunday, and I told you I wanted to get the color work done by Sunday. But it's really hard to show you, but I've done both front shaping and cast on for this part here. And I kind of want to cast on a Farnham tee because I have the yarn for it, and I can just follow the Farnham sweater pattern and make it short sleeve. Like, I can literally just do that. And I'm really excited, and I kind of want to, like, not talk about the Farnham that much right now, because if I do cast on a Farnham tee, I want to make a whole separate vlog covering both the tee and sweater. So yeah, anyway, I'm making good progress. I want to try and finish halibut tonight. I will give you an update either when I finish the color work, if that's tonight, or I'll give you an update tomorrow. It's Sunday. It's done. It is complete to the point that I said it was going to be by Sunday. Like, obviously the sweater's not done, but like the yoke is done. And that's what I said I was gonna do by Sunday. And I'm really happy with it. The yoke is absurdly long, like comically long. And I need to try it on. And I should just pause the recording, because you probably can't even hear me. But I'm not going to. I look so different. when my shoulders aren't out. Yeah, here it is. Here's the absurdity of the yoke. Look at how long that yoke is. My armpit is here. My armpit's up here. The yoke ends down there. The sleeves aren't going to come out until here. And you know what? I kind of dig it. I kind of like that. It means that I have very little to actually knit. I'm only going to knit. I did the math based on my gauge and how much it's supposed to grow in length when blocking. And I'm only going to knit, I think, 5 inches of body stockinette and then 2 to 3 inches of ribbing. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it on some barber cord. I don't know if I want to do the sleeves first or if I just want to block it first. But I'm probably going to pop it on the barber cord, then move on to the sleeves and such. Do the same thing with the sleeves, pop it on barber cord before I bind anything off. Block it, and then I can see how it actually wears when it's all done. And it's just on barber cord. So if I need to elongate it, I can elongate it. If I need to rip back, that's easy. I can just rip it back and either immediately bind off or reknit any ribbing that I'm missing that I want. And if it's perfect, I can just bind off immediately. So that's the plan for this. I love the colors. The color was fun. I did alter the chart slightly because halibut are really ugly. They're really ugly fish. They just are. I'm sorry. They're really funny. I get it. It's really silly to have on a sweater, but they're just not nice looking fish. So I made it a little cuter, mostly by removing the second large eyeball on the same side of its head. But I also like rounded the gills up. Whatever. I made some little differences. You can't really tell though. I can tell. I know they're there, but you probably couldn't tell unless without me having pointed it out to you, you probably wouldn't have known. And that's fine. But yeah, there's halibut. I'm excited for it to block out because the neck is too high. Like I like how it looks, but it's not comfortable. But yeah, that's it. That's the goal for the week is done. And it feels kind of crazy to have it done. I probably shouldn't be doing this on camera. I should probably just be pausing before I do that. Ugh, gross. Okay. That's the main goal of the week, completed. And my hair is a wreck. It's not one of my videos, so I'm not messing with my hair. Then I've got the Farnham sweater, which I've not made a lot of progress on, to be honest with you. This was a totally impromptu cast on. I'm in the middle of a row, so it looks really funky. But it's going, and it's everything that I like in a sweater. It's stripes, it's blue, it's drop shoulder, it's cashmere. I mean, what more is there for me, right? This is everything I like in a sweater. And actually, I kind of want to knit a Farnham tee, like, soon, because I have some orange cotton yarn that would be perfect for the fall. And it's not really fall here yet, to be honest with you. Like, it's cold, but the trees are green, which is not normal, but it is what it is. I kind of want to cast that on at some point. I shouldn't right now, because I have, obviously, other things that I need to finish, and other things still, like, hibernating that I need to finish. But I kind of want to. And then there's also Splatter, which I think this is going to be my next, like, hunker down, finish it project vlog, dedicated project. Because I'm most of the way through the body. I have, I think, like 4 rows left in the round on the body before I split for the yoke, do all that shaping, do the sleeves. Voila. I think I'm going to put pockets on it too, because my inspiration for the silhouette of this sweater is the Weekender Crew. It doesn't have, obviously, the detail in the front, but that's kind of the shape that I'm going for. And I think it'd be fun to have those pockets. They would be knitted as like a pouch, you know, be a closed pouch or really small needles so that nothing's gonna fall out. But anyway, this might be the next project vlog because I gotta finish this thing. Because there's a pattern coming, and people need to test it. It's gonna take weeks or a month or more. But yeah, anyway, those are the things I'm working on. To recap, Kindred is dead. What's Frog? The yarn still exists. I'm gonna pick it up again eventually because I love the design that I have in my brain. But I killed it. It no longer exists, technically. Friday Tea and Felix Ish are sequestered away. I'm gonna pick them up again eventually when I want to. And that's fine. And that's, yeah, something that I wanted to, like, the message of this video, actually I should work on this, not the front, because this is high priority. The message of this video, the theme, so to speak, if you want to be pretentious with it, which sometimes I do, is that, like, these are our hobbies, right? Crafting is a hobby for probably 99 0.9% of us in the space. Like, it's not our job. You know, it's not required of us. Our lives don't depend on it. And I mean, for some people they do, but like for most of us, the vast majority of us, and for me, my life doesn't depend on it. There's nothing that I am obligated to finish. There's nothing that my life will be destroyed if I don't finish it. That's ridiculous. It's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. And there's nothing wrong with putting things down because they're not fun and starting new things that are more fun. There's nothing wrong with that. And I have encountered in this space a lot of shame within not people shaming each other necessarily, but people feeling a sense of shame when they don't want to do one thing and they just want to pick up something else. And there's no reason for that. And like obviously there could be cases where it's a problem. You know, if you're constantly buying yarn for new projects, you're working 10 rows and then going, I don't care anymore, and then buying new yarn. It's like, that's not great. But we all encounter projects that we start, we get into them, and then we go, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And there's absolutely no reason to force yourself to continue or to stop yourself from casting on something new that would be more fun. There's no reason for it. Because at the end of the day, like, this is what we do to feel joy. And there's no reason to rob yourself of that joy and turn it into labor. There's no reason for it. So I'm going to continue doing these projects that are making me happy. I'm probably going to cast on that orange Farnham tee because it would make me happy. It would make me happy. And none of this is that serious, you know? It's not that serious. TLDR, that's kind of my life philosophy. Do what makes you happy. It's a hobby. Do it. Do what you think is fun. And yeah, that's everything. I think like right after I edit and post this, I might start the project vlog for this one because this is like a project. Phone just stopped recording. So I don't remember, or actually I do remember, but I don't actually know where it stopped recording. I have no idea. So I'm just gonna pick back up and say, I gotta kind of get the move on with this. And I'm really excited. I can't wait to release this pattern to people. I can't wait to call for testers. I can't wait to host a test. I can't wait. I'm so excited, and I need to just channel that excitement into the actual labor and actually do the thing. Yeah, this might be the next project vlog. That's gonna be exciting, hopefully, fun, hopefully. And yeah, other than that, that's everything. Thank you for watching. My socials are below. I don't post on Instagram really, to be honest with you. I'm going to for like this test call, I'm sure. And I need to get back into it. I'm gonna do this stuff. But it's down there if you want. My Ravelry, my personal Ravelry is down there, as well as my designer page on Ravelry. I only have sock patterns up right now, but they're free, and I think they're cute, and people seem to like them. I have not gotten any complaints about them, so people seem to enjoy them. And also they're free, so everyone wins. But yeah, I hope you had fun today. If you did, I would appreciate if you went below, dropped a little like, or subscribed, or wrote me a nice comment. All of the above, I would love and appreciate. Let me know what you're working on, if this video helped you through the crafting process. Yeah, I had so much fun with you today. I hope you did too. Bye.